Today, I'm going to try and win the Premier League without losing a single game, but there's a twist. I'll be starting off with Sunderland, a team expected to get relegated, and I'm not even going to be allowed to choose my own transfers. Instead, I'm going to spin a wheel, and each time we do, it will choose one footballing goat to bring back into our team with the hopes we can eventually make an invincible squad. Each season, we'll set a challenge. If we achieve it, we'll be allowed 2 spins of a wheel, and if we don't, we'll only get 1, and I'll be hoping we can take Sunderland from predicted relegation in 20th place to title glory without losing a single game. Now, in its current state, there is a few decent players in the Sunderland squad like Granit Xhaka, defender Reinildo, and former Brighton Manadingra, but those players aren't exactly going to help this Sunderland team go invincible, so we're going to have to simulate the first year. The challenge for season 1 is to stay up. If we do, we'll get 2 spins. If we fail, we'll only get 1. So let's get the first season out of the way and then get to the fun bit of adding in some legends. And as predicted, our Sunderland team struggled. In fact, we finished in the relegation zone, 19th place with 6 wins, 6 draws and 26 losses, and a horrendous goal difference, the worst in the league, 6 points away from safety and relegation in year 1. So without any legends, this team is obviously not going to go invincible. So now we're going to get to spin the wheel only once because we did fail our challenge of trying to stay up, but that will mean we get 1 extra player, 1 legend of football to help our team. Now this wheel features the likes of Pele, Maradona, as well as recent greats like Messi and CR7. And as you can see, I've got it on my screen here. We're going to spin and see which player we get to help our side. So we're spinning, and for our first one, we are going to get, if that ain't a good start, Lionel Messi. Now there was 50 odd legends to pick from in that list, and we have ended up with arguably the greatest player of all time, who's definitely going to help our Sunderland team. He has been brought back in the prime of his game. Don't worry about the ages, by the way, in this database. For some reason all the legends have got random ages, but he looks like a phenomenal player, and for some reason the game reckons he can play centre back, but obviously that's not where we're going to use him. He is going to be our main man up top. And just like that, we have the first legend in our team. He might play at right wing, he might play up top, I don't really know, but what I do know is he hasn't had that big of an effect on our club because we are still predicted to finish rock bottom. We've still got 1,000 to 1 odds of winning the title, so we're a mile away from doing anything in terms of winning the league just yet, but hey, it's 1 legend, it's a start, and now we simulate this year hoping to reach our goal. Again, I'm going to be looking for the team to survive this season. If they can do that and avoid relegation with the help of Messi, we'll get 2 spins, but only time will tell if having Lionel Messi is enough to start climbing up the table. And it's safe to say in his first season, Messi had a big impact on our Sunderland side. Gone from playing with the likes of Neymar and Suarez, he was linking up with Adingra and Dan Neil to score, and whilst he was mainly playing as a striker, he was finding the back of the net often. He was certainly doing the business on his own. And whilst he didn't suddenly turn us into title winners, he definitely had a big effect, because with his help we ended up finishing in 15th place on 44 points with 12 wins, 18 losses and a way better goal difference, Messi being crucial in all of that. And you will see it's not just us that have legends. All the legends that haven't yet made it to our squad are at their clubs. So Ronaldo is at Man United, whilst Dixie Dean is at Everton, so that adds an extra challenge. It's not just us with legends, other teams have them too. Now across the course of the season, Messi was our best regular player, playing 37 games across all comps, scoring 23 goals, not assisting many, but being our best player by far. And that shows the kind of impact having a legend can have. We've managed to stay up, and that means we now get 2 spins of a wheel to add 2 more greats of the game to our team. So let's get spinning to see which 2 players are going to be joining us. The first one, okay, that's actually pretty useful. A goalkeeper, Petr Cech, we'll definitely take that. Now to be honest, that's really good because there was only 3 goalkeepers in that whole list, so to get 1 of them early means we're at least going to have a good shot stopper for this rebuild. And for our next player, it's going to land on, Gary Neville. Not exactly the best player we could have got for our team, but definitely one of the better right backs that we've seen in recent years. He's going to slot right into that position and be a great addition to our lineup, as will our new goalkeeper and a Premier League legend, Petr Cech, the man who I believe still holds a record for the most clean sheets in a season. He comes and joins us as our number 1. And very quickly, this team is starting to come together. We've got Cech, Neville and Messi. If we can add a midfielder, we'll have someone in every area of the pitch, but these guys are still playing alongside some pretty average talent. But clearly they're having an effect, because our team is now predicted to finish in 14th place with 400 to 1 odds of winning the title, way better than when we were all the way down in 20th, so maybe this time round having these 3 legends will be enough to make us invincible. The challenge for this year is to keep climbing and finish in the top half. If we do that, it'll be 2 spins. It's a tough ask, I know, but maybe these 3 can take us to glory. And our 3 superstars were definitely having an effect. Gary Neville getting down the right and assisting the main man Lionel Messi. Neville was even getting on the score sheet himself with a few goals. And Petr Cech was earning himself Man of the Match awards in the same match that someone like Roy Keane was getting sent off. Typical, really. And those 2 certainly helped our Sunderland side, as we've managed to rise up the table a little bit further into 12th place, winning 12 matches, still not exactly getting into any kind of stupid heights in the league and getting into Europe, but considering we've only tried 2 seasons with legends at the club, you can see the impact these players will have the more of them that we add. 44 points is not bad, but we want to do better. And interestingly enough, Petr Cech and Gary Neville actually did better for our side than Messi did this year, with a higher average match rating and Messi scoring 13 times in all comps. It's definitely progress, but we're still miles away from challenging for the league, never mind going invincible in the thing. So it's time for another spin of the wheel. We failed our challenge of getting in the top half of the table, so it's only going to be 1 player this time. But before we see the wheel spin, if you are enjoying the video, smash the like button for me and let me know down below which legend of the game is your favourite that we should have had in this team. Subscribe as well on the road to 50k subs so you don't miss more videos like this. And if you want to support me as a creator or get access to this save file, you can get that over on my Patreon, where I also put up the videos early, ad-free, with also some added benefits to you guys that you'll see over there, like having your name in the game in some of these rebuilds. So if any of that sounds interesting, or you just want to be nice and support me, go and check it out. Everything is linked in the description, but let's go and have a look at who our next player in our team will be. Now, Neville was nice, but I'm hoping for maybe a left winger, a striker. Okay, we've got a centre-back, and it's probably the best there is, or certainly in the conversation as one of the best to ever do it, Paolo Maldini, who can of course play in that left-back spot as well, but surely he's going to be the main man in our defence, being the pin in the middle of it all, with 20 leadership, 6'2", a monster of a defender. Paolo Maldini is at the club. And whilst I did say I wanted maybe a striker or a left winger, I'll definitely take a centre-back. We already had Neville in the defence, but adding Maldini and Cech to it means we can probably have a couple of duds in there and still have a very strong defensive line. In fact, for those interested, if we were to put the Sunderland players in, this is apparently how the team would look. Cech, Neville and Maldini are partnered with Chris Metham and Reynildo at left back. It's Xhaka, Neil and Ekwa in the midfield, with Adingra, Roberts and Lionel Messi leading the line up top. And that hodgepodge of a team isn't expected to win the title just yet, but we have gone up ever so slightly into an 11th place prediction, 250 to 1 odds of winning that title. And seeing as we didn't do it last year, my challenge again is going to be to finish in the top half of the table. I feel like with the players we've got now, we should be able to do it. One of the world's best attackers, defenders and goalkeepers, plus Gary Neville. This team is definitely one that should at least be aiming for challenging for those European spots, so asking for a top half of the table job shouldn't be too much. And this season, despite adding Maldini to our team and making a very strong defensive line, our team just couldn't get to winning ways. Yes, we had a few wins here and there where the likes of Messi were combining with Neville for goals, and there were some great victories like beating Manchester United 3-0. But at the same time, we'd then go and lose to them 5-0 at Old Trafford, as well as losing 3-1 to Fulham, Leeds, and also losing to 10-man Everton. So whilst we were picking up some nice wins, the team still wasn't gelling, and when those legends that we put in weren't playing up to scratch, the team was falling apart, and it led to a decent finish, but again, we haven't really moved much. We're sitting in 12th place, still not top half of the table, failing another challenge. 13 wins is great, but 14 losses, our first ever positive goal difference, and way more points than before is something that we can take as a positive. But the team isn't exactly doing what we want them to do. You'd assume with these guys in our squad, we would be challenging really high up, and whilst Cech and Maldini were playing well, Lionel Messi, Gary Neville really not doing good at all. Only 6.7 average match ratings for them, really being let down by Messi after his fantastic first season. Yes, he's scoring 16, but his average rating is terrible because the other players that he's playing with aren't helping him out at all. And there's only one solution to that, of course, and it's for us to spin that wheel again and hopefully add another strong legend to this lineup. lineup. I want less Gary Nevilles and maybe more Cristiano Ronaldos, that kind of thing. That will give us a big boost, but at this stage, I'll take anyone. I mean, we can't really complain with Messi and Maldini so far, but that's a very nice addition, a midfielder, and a great one at that, Patrick Vieira. And what better way to make an invincible team than adding an invincible player himself? Arsenal's Patrick Vieira, of course, having a very good career across many different clubs, but for us, he is coming in as our main midfielder. He walks straight into our best 11, and he is going to be a great player to have in that midfield area. Vieira, Xhaka, two Arsenal captains playing together might not be so bad. And I'm looking at this team here, and I actually think we're only a couple of players away from competing for a league title. I mean, we've got one of the world's best midfielders, attackers, a great defence and goalkeeper. I don't mind players like Ronaldo and Adingra, it's just the Dan Neils, Patrick Roberts and Methrams of the world that are letting us down. Of course, the squad itself is also pretty poor, so the bench players aren't exactly helping us. But for the stick I'm giving them, we are now actually predicted top half. 9th place prediction, 100 to 1 odds of winning the league, so there is a chance now, but I think at this stage, we can't get too ahead of ourselves. The challenge will again be to finally do it, to get top half of the table. I'll be hoping Vieira can have a big impact. It's definitely a nice addition of quality to the team, and now with 5 legends in the squad, I'm hoping at a very minimum that will get us into the top half of the Prem. And instantly adding an actual invincible Premier League winner to our team made a huge impact. Because big Patrick Vieira wasn't just helping the team defensively, he was scoring goals too, like this brilliant strike against Bournemouth. Maldini was also now starting to find the back of the net, and with some better players around him, Messi was now thriving, having his best season yet, scoring a ton of goals, including this one to beat Cristiano Ronaldo's United. And not only did we finish in the top half of the league table, as I wanted our players to do, we've gone a step further because we have qualified for Europe, and not just qualified, we finished in 5th place with 33 goal difference, 67 points, and closing in on the league title, which was Liverpool's this year with 81. Now, we lost only 5 games. Our big issue was the 16 draws that we got, where even in games where we scored none, we drew, and in games where we scored 4, we still managed to draw. We did win 17 matches, but if we can just convert some of those draws to wins and a few more quality players, we're going to go to the very top very quickly. Especially when our legends are performing like this. Messi, Maldini, Vieira and Cech were exceptional, and even Granit Xhaka, now playing alongside Patrick Vieira, suddenly turned into a beast and managed to score 12 goals himself. Gary Neville was the only one that maybe wasn't at the levels of the other guys, but I wouldn't expect him to be. A very solid player, but not quite one of the greatest to ever play. But speaking of those great players, we're now going to be able to add another 2. We're going to get 2 spins of a wheel for finishing in the top half of the table, and I'm hoping that will mean we can add a bit of quality. My ideal lineup now would be getting a striker, a left winger, or maybe another centre mid, and I think we'd be ready to challenge for that Prem. So let's see who we're going to add now as it spins, and we land on Philipp Lahm. Now that's interesting. Now Lahm is obviously a super versatile player, but I'd say his best role is probably that right back slot. With Gary Neville here, maybe we push him into the midfield and allow Vieira to go further forward. That could work. But before we think about our plans too much, we should probably spin this wheel one more time to see who we land on, and that is a great player to add. Carlos Puyol, captain of one of the greatest teams to ever play football in Pep's Barcelona. He is going to be a vital addition to our backline. He might be 5'10", but he is way bigger in stature than he is in height. This guy is going to be a great player to have at the back. And with Puyol's addition to the team, we now have a stacked lineup. Petr Cech, Maldini and Puyol have Gary Neville next to them, who now, because everyone else is so good, is only a 2.5-star player. Philipp Lahm, Vieira and Messi make up a very good team all round. I think Vieira, whilst it says he is 2.5 stars, he can play any of these midfield roles at a very high level, and I think what we've put together here is already a squad capable of winning the Prem. The game doesn't think we're too far off. It still predicts 8th place, but it does have us at 33 to 1 odds of winning the title. Before this, the best we had was, I think, 100 to 1, so clearly we've got a lot better with those 2 additions. So we've added 2 very good players to our lineup, and I'm hoping that will mean that after last season's finish in 5th place, we can maybe move one step higher. Let's aim for the top 4. And as expected, we add some better players and our team gets better as a whole. In fact, we made it to 2 cup finals this year, not part of what we're trying to do at the club, but it shows how far we've come. Now, unfortunately, we did lose both finals, but players like Puyol were getting off a mark and scoring. Not just him, but Philip Lahm too was able to get a goal or two. And having someone like Lahm in the team allowed players like Vieira to get forward and score more. And as I mentioned, this season allowed us to get that little bit better. I say that little bit. We had finished in 4th place, and this time we are only 14 points away from the title. Man U win it this year. We lose 9 games, draw 7 and win 22, 2 runners-up awards. And if we have a look at those players that came in, you can see all of them were doing a great job. Puyol did have an injury which ruled him out for quite a bit of a season, but when he was playing, he did pretty well for himself. You saw his 1 goal, but Vieira now scored 22 and Messi scored 30. Those guys were smashing it. In a lot of the games, Vieira was playing in this role. Lahm was coming forward into the deep line playmaker, and then Neville was playing here, which meant that Vieira was able to get into those areas, score a lot of goals, and prove his quality. Now, we were aiming for top 4 this season, and we secured it, as well as getting runners-up in 2 cup competitions, and I think that certainly deserves us getting 2 new spins on the wheel. So let's see what we can get this time. I'm hoping for an attacker. We've had quite a few defenders, but it is another defender, one of my favourites. I'm wearing the Chelsea kit, maybe that was luck, because John Terry is now going to be part of this Sunderland team. We've definitely got depth at the back. Will he even be a starter? I don't know. Maldini, Puyol, very good, but Terry being there is a lovely addition to have. But we've got 2 spins, so let's see who our second one's going to be as it goes one more time, and we land on a midfielder, and a good one at that, Paul Scholes. A brilliant passer of the football with amazing vision. He is going to be a great playmaker in the middle of the park for us, good with either feet. He might only be 5'7", but despite his height, he'll be having a huge impact on the team. And I think at this point, we are a star striker away, a 20-goal a season striker away from really winning that title, because you look at the team we've built now, and I don't see how anyone's going to be able to beat us if we can add those players, because right now what happens is Messi goes into the attack, and then on the wings we're running with Abdullah Bar and Adingra, who are players that are, relegation quality. They're not going to help you win the league, and those 2 roles are so important for us, so to be missing those attackers is killing us right now. But actually, I do quite like that we've built from the back, and now we've filled out the midfield, and we're getting to the stage where I expect us to be able to compete. My next aim for this team, considering the game is now previewing us as finishing 6th, but with 13-1 odds of winning the title, I think now that has to be the aim. We have to go out, we have to win it. We've definitely got the players to do so. Yes, like I say, we're lacking in a few areas, but we've got Messi and Maldini. We should be walking this. And this season, we were unreal, winning so many matches, and we were, as expected, in a title race with a big chance to win the title and get that one step closer to an invincible season. We just had to beat Arsenal at the Emirates on the last day of the season to secure the trophy. And with all the legends on the pitch full of leaders and winners from football history, we got off to a great start for a Rice own goal. And you'd assume from there we'd go on and win the game, but Arsenal managed to score a set piece through a deflected shot from Saka to equalise. Another corner routine later in the game found Saka on the edge of the area, who was able to easily get to the byline, pull it back, and Martinelli scored, typical Arsenal scoring corners. And then it was Saka from the penalty spot in the 50th minute, and that meant that Arsenal won the game 3-1, and we didn't win the title. In fact, we finished in 2nd place, and a very close 2nd place at that, only losing by 2 points, but Man United had won it once more. They won it on the last run through, and they win it again. We had 5 losses this year, 4 away from home, 1 at home, 9 draws, and 24 wins. It's definitely starting to come together, but as you can see, we are lacking those major goal scorers. Dixie Dean, Ronaldo, and Haaland scoring all the goals, whereas for us, our best was Patrick Vieira with 17. It's not really good enough. Speaking of Vieira, he was really good this year, but it was a letdown season from Messi really, who only got 10 goals in 38 appearances. Adingra got the same, so for all the slack that I gave this guy, he's actually gone out there and done just about as good as Messi, to be honest with you. But seeing as we failed the challenge of winning the title, we're only going to get 1 spin this year. So we best hope that we get a bit lucky with this and we get someone like R9, Cristiano Ronaldo, anyone like that to take our team up a gear. And for what is now going to be our 10th edition of the team, we are landing on, is that Rivaldo? No, it's landed on Stoichkov. And this could be exactly what we need for our team. He fills in both of the slots where we were really lacking some star quality. Hristo Stoichkov, the Bulgarian international. He's rapid, he's a goal scorer, great dribbler, can hit a free kick, a penalty as well. He's going to be exactly what we need. A talisman up front for our team, and he is going to be the man now, leading the side that looks exceptionally good. I mean, Adingra sticks out like a sore thumb in this side, but still is holding his own a little bit at 2.5 stars. He's not totally useless. Obviously, the bench and reserves is still lacking quite a lot, and we probably need a bit of depth there. But if we're talking starting 11s, if we can keep everyone fit and firing, I mean, I don't see any reason this team shouldn't be going out and winning the title. We're now predicted 4th, 8-1 odds. That's about as good as you'll get in Football Manager. So for me, that means we should be going out and winning it. With the players we've got to get the job done. So now, the aim is going to be to win the title again, and then we can start adding that quality to hopefully go invincible. And I said we needed a striker in this team, and as expected, we added one, and he tore it up. Hristo Stoichkov was deadly in front of goal, Maldini assisting him for one, and Matman Maldini was playing a role in his next goal as Scholes played a great ball in with a signature pass and Stoichkov finished again. Yet despite all of the goals he scored, it wasn't enough to get us to the title. In fact, we did worse than last year, as we finished in 3rd place, with Liverpool storming out to win the trophy. Now, if I remember right, I actually think we've done better points-wise than before. We definitely have better goal scorers now, with Stoichkov hitting 24 goals as the 2nd best goal scorer in the league. But we are still not quite getting there where I want to be, which is challenging for that title and winning it on a regular basis. We're a few points away, mind you, it's not the end of the world, but to be invincible, we need to be winning the title to start with, so we're definitely going to need a bit of backup in this side. Stoichkov, though, has been a revelation. If we look at the average ratings, he is right near the top with 26 goals in all comps. We have Vieira as well with 13, and Messi right back on it with 20 goals this year and our best overall performer. Credit to Simon Adingra, clearly a legend in his own right. Maybe he's someone that might be a future GOAT of football the way that this is going, because poor old Terry Larman Scholes can't lace his boots right now. He is absolutely smashing it for us on the left. Just imagine if we had CR7 or someone like that in that position. Adingra is doing well, but of course we'd like a few extra legends in this team. We're only getting one though, seeing as we failed the challenge of winning the title. Let's hope it's a good one. And as we spin this wheel again, I'm really hoping it lands on an attacker. Not a defender again, as good as he is. So Sergio Ramos, the Spanish superstar, makes his way into our lineups. 23, rolling back the years, and in his prime, this guy is probably about as good as Maldini is based on his attributes in Football Manager right now, and he can play it right back too, so he's actually a very good addition to get. It does give us a lot of depth in the defence, because now when you look at it, John Terry, Gary Neville, they're only on the bench at this point, which is good stuff really, to think that we've got those guys in reserve. Apparently Xhaka still makes this best lineup. For me, of course, it's got to be Lahm. Then maybe we stick Ramos out at right back and Terry at centre back. But either way, it's good to know we have options. Still not quite fixing the problem areas in the team, but I suppose you can't complain getting a Real Madrid captain that's won it all. And hopefully he'll help us win the title, which we need to do at this stage. Now, we added superstar after superstar to our lineup so far, Messi, Maldini, whoever it might be, and I looked at Ramos as a player that just felt unnecessary for the team we had. But how wrong was I? Because Sergio Ramos was a deadly threat, not just in the air from corners, but managing to assist goals from free kicks too. And what I didn't know is that he was actually a very good penalty taker, and he was taking all of our penalties. And because of that, he actually finished as the 5th best goal scorer in the division, scoring 17 goals in 24 appearances. And he was clearly what we needed, because he has taken us to an astronomical level, being the 2nd best player in the division, with not just some of the most goals, but 17 assists, and helping us win the title with 31 wins, 3 draws, and 4 losses, 96 points. This is now where we're getting into the territory of having one of the elite Premier League clubs here at Sunderland. 96 points is incredible, but still 4 big losses in there. Liverpool, Newcastle, Brighton, and then at home to Man U. If we can just add a couple extra star players to this team, maybe replace Adingra with someone a little bit better, maybe then we can get closer and closer to that invincible title. Once again, Vieira was one of our best in the side, managing to score 31 goals, while Stoichkov was scoring 37. We did change the tactic a little bit this year, and clearly it was getting the midfielders involved more, as Scholes scored 18, Adingra still got his 11, whilst Messi was only getting 8. So the tactic is still a 4 4-3-3. I've just shifted some of the roles around a bit to have some more inside forwards, and we've got a box-to-box midfielder and a DM instead of a deep line playmaker. Nothing crazy, but I was hoping those changes might make us a bit better, and it seems it's got the most out of those midfield players. But now, of course, we have passed the target of winning the league title. That was our next step on the journey, and it means that we've won the challenge and we get 2 spins of the wheel, but now we need to make a team that's invincible. And to do that, we're going to have to spin the wheel to get 2 new players. And we're adding another defender, but one of the best there is. One of the only people that competes with Maldini in those conversations was one of the best ever, Franco Baresi, the Italian 27-year-old defender. 27 in this world, obviously he's way older than that in real life, but he is a beast. He might not be the tallest, he's only 5'9" here apparently, but he is insanely good. And now we've got Puyol, Terry, Ramos, Maldini and Baresi in the defence. We should never concede again. Now, as much as I love having all these defenders, I'm hoping for something else, and this time we've landed on Ruud Gullit, and that is someone that's really going to take our midfield to another level. In fact, squad depth wise, he's probably the best thing we could have got, because he can play everywhere, from striker to defence, anywhere in that spine, he can do it. But of course, the midfield area is where I want to be using him, a super well-rounded player who at this stage doesn't actually look as good as some of the others, but 6'3", a towering presence. He's going to be one that elevates us to a whole new stratosphere, I think. And for the first time, we are now seeing a Dinger exit the team, because, I mean, this team is incredibly good. Gullit has now gone up top with Stoichkov and Messi next to him, Vieira, Scholes and Lahm in the midfield with Maldini, Terry, Baresi, Ramos and Cech, with a bench of Patterson, Xhaka and Dan Neil, as well as Puyol and Neville. Let's not forget about those guys there. But I mean, as far as starting 11s go, it can't get much better than this, and having won the title already, I only imagine we're going to go another step further now. So from here on out, the only time we'll get 2 players is when we win the league, so we should be expecting that pretty much every time. Having won it last year, we've improved the squad, it's got to only be getting better. And I said this season should only really get better, and we did actually manage to pick up a trophy. But not the one you're thinking of, because in the FA Cup final, Ruud Gullit was on fire. He managed to score 1 to put us in the lead, and our new signing didn't stop there because he scored a brilliant second to win us the FA Cup trophy. Yet in the Premier League, it just wasn't quite clicking. Because we went from smashing the league with 96 points last season to 73 this time round. I don't know why. We lost 9 games, some of them very winnable too. We drew 7 and we got absolutely smashed by City. I mean, there's 13 points in it with them winning the title. Statistically, we scored more than anyone else, and we conceded way more than we did previously. I mean, City were exceptional in defence, but it is a big disappointment, because I really thought at this point we were just going to build and eventually we would go invincible, but maybe I need to rethink things. But saying that, the goals were all there. I mean, Stoichkov hit his best season yet with 40, Messi got 19, 20 from Gullit, Vieira did dry up a little bit with only 12, but that's still not too bad, Baresi with 6, who came in his first season and definitely contributed, Scholes with 11. I just don't really know where it failed. We got a better defence than before, but we were conceding more. I don't quite know why. It wasn't really working this season, but I suppose we can only really go again, and we're going to add another player to the ranks to help with that, but failing our challenge, it will only be 1. So our 14th player, as we spin the wheel to add to this lineup, is going to be, is that Henry? Rui Costa. Now, Rui Costa is actually a very nice addition and one of Portugal's best ever players, but for a second I thought we'd landed on Henry, and that would have been amazing to have him on the left wing, Messi on the right and Stoichkov up top. That would have been insane, but Rui Costa is still definitely a great addition. Can play midfield on the left or in that attacking midfield spot if we decide to change the formation. He comes in now to our team, and looking at our best team now, he does take the left wing spot, which pushes Stoichkov up top and then puts Gullit in that attacking midfield role with the Mezzala duty. The Englishman have been a bit hard done by here, with Terry, Neville and Scholes, the 3 English players we picked up, apparently not being good enough for that best 11, but I'm not complaining, because this team that we've now got ready here, I mean, it's got to be predicted a title. Yes, it is. We are expected now to win it. So anything other than that is a total disaster. 6-5 title odds, Man City at 9-2. We are the clear favourites. We have some of the best players to have ever kicked a ball. And actually at this point, only winning 1 title, it's pretty underwhelming. So maybe this time will be the time we can really kick on and prove that an invincible season maybe isn't too far away. And after last year's disappointment, this time round, we were not going to make the same mistakes. With Rui Costa coming in, I didn't think he'd make that much of a difference, But it definitely did, because games that we were losing previously were now turning into wins, like Arsenal away from home, who we managed to beat 4-1. We managed to beat last season's title winners Man City 2-0, even with only 10 men. And Rui Costa got a hat-trick in what was a 9-1 win away at the Amex in a brilliant result. So not only did we actually go on and win the league title this year, but we won the FA Cup too. Now with 93 goal difference and 103 points, it's one of the best seasons any team has ever had in Premier League history. But we lost 3 games, all away from home, all to London clubs, most of them by a goal. Losing to Palace was annoying, Chelsea got the better of us in a 3-1 win, but that was only 1 draw, again to Chelsea, but 34 wins is fantastic news, which means we really are now getting to the stage where we're an elite team. I don't know what difference Rui Costa made, but clearly it was a big one. If we actually go to the Premier League and look at the team overview, we smashed it for the most goals, and we also conceded way less than a previous season. Maybe someone was injured last time round, I don't know, but this year we were way better, loads of goals, the most clean sheets, fewest conceded as well. We are on the right track. And how important Rui Costa was. He was our 3rd best player this year, beating Messi, beating Maldini, Ramos, Hullet and Baresi. He was so good. Not always considered one of the best of all time, Rui Costa has definitely proved his mettle here. He did really well, while Stoichkov got 38, there was 16 from Hullet, 14 from Ramos, 14 from Paul Scholes off the bench too, and credit where credit's due for Simon Adingra, who even with Rui Costa coming in, he decided to make his mark, and this boy picked up 10 goals in all competitions, so not too bad at all. And of course that means winning the title. We now get another 2 spins as we get one step closer, hopefully, to being invincible. We just need a bit more star power, and I think we'll be there. So let's spin that wheel again and see who we're adding to this already great team. It's Xavi, one of the best midfielders ever, though he is going to have competition because he's got Paul Scholes, Hullet, amongst many others in that midfield area to compete with. But Xavi, I mean, what a player to get. A passing metronome in the midfield to run the game for us, an exceptional talent, and he joins us in already a stat squad to make us just that bit better. But of course, we get 2 spins here, so let's see the second player that we're adding. I think this might be perfect. Sergio Aguero. And whilst he isn't the biggest star name we could have added, you know, there's R9 out there, Cristiano Ronaldo, Sergio Aguero is certainly not a bad addition. I mean, he's got pace, he's going to be a very good option, probably not as a starter, but at least rotating with the likes of Stoichkov, Messi, Hullet for that striking area. He can also play on the left, the right, we can use him wherever we need to, and I think it's just great to have another star attacker in our ranks. And I say he doesn't go into the first team, but according to FM, he does go into that striker spot. It sees Rui Costa dip out into the midfield and Stoichkov take the left, which actually pushes Hullet out the team, so credit where credit's due, clearly the game is rating Aguero, and it's rating Rui Costa as well. So if this team is allowed to put Ruud, Hullet, John Terry on the bench, those kind of players, Paul Scholes too, it must be good enough to at least get close to invincible. So at this stage now, I'm not going to give us any kind of 2 spins if we win the title. No. We need to go for invincible. We'll get 1 spin every single season now, whatever happens, until we reach that target. I think the team's ready. It should at least be able to get close after last year's great season. And this year, we did everything as expected. We had hit the last couple of months of the season, and we were in the lead in the title race. And not just that, we were yet to lose. Now, we had drawn a couple games, but as we got to the closing stages, it looked like no one was going to be able to stop us. Until we went to Everton. Now, most teams were totally powerless to stop us this year. We were winning games 4-0, left, right and centre, with great scorelines and dominating every match. But as the Everton game went on, we had had 3xG and we hadn't scored. Meanwhile, Everton themselves hadn't even had a single shot, but in the 60th minute, a ball over the top to the legendary striker Dixie Dean from James Garner led to him running in behind, and a great header past Petr Cech put Everton 1-0 up. And that was a scoreline for pretty much the whole game, until we got into the 91st minute, where Simon Adingra was brought down for a penalty and Sergio Ramos stepped up. Now, he'd been Mr. Reliable so far, and he was again. Pickford got a hand, but it went in. And just to top everything off, with 96 minutes on the clock, it was that man Adingra powering home for the winner. So out of all people, it was Simon Adingra who kept our title hopes alive of going invincible. And he helped us get to the last game of the season totally unbeaten. There was only 1 team left to play. The only issue is it was Arsenal, the only ever invincible club in the Prem, and they wanted to stop us taking that title. Now, to make things a little bit more complicated, Arsenal were currently running with Pele up front, so that added to their lineup. And this was arguably the last place we would have wanted to go on the final day of the season. Away at the Emirates, the only team to have ever gone invincible. but after 50 minutes, Aguero scored to put us 1-0 up. So it was just a case of hanging on to the lead, and when Patrick Vieira got his head to a corner which bounced off and thankfully Martin Odegaard tapped in, it was looking good. And the celebrations went wild as Granit Xhaka found Rui Costa, who played for Ruud Gullit, the former Chelsea man, putting it past David Raya to beat Arsenal and break their invincible streak. There was a new invincible club in town, and it was Sunderland. And our legendary squad did it in style, with 0 losses, 3 draws and 35 wins. The teams that got closest to beating us were Arsenal, City and Forest, who all got draws against us. City was a score draw that could have gone either way, but 110 goal difference was exceptional, and a big part of that was Sergio Aguero, who came in and scored 29 goals. I didn't expect him to do so well, but he was the second best player in the league alongside his best friend Lionel Messi. Them two were tearing it up for us. And actually, credit to Granit Xhaka. This man got 14 assists, 6 goals and was one of our best players this year. So credit to him, he was right up there with some of the legends that we had, but our team did insanely well, scoring 129 goals and only conceded 19. That was what I expected with the defence we had. God knows what happened in that season when we suddenly turned up and finished third, but our squad was on fire. Every single player putting in a shift, from Dennis Serkin apparently with 1 appearance and 1 goal, to Ramos, Aguero and Messi absolutely destroying opposition. In fact, Ramos scored more than Messi, most of them of course being penalties. Rui Costa was also a surprising addition, getting 22. We knew how good he was last year, but the fact that him and Aguero were the difference makers in this rebuild has really surprised me. Xavi was also great too, coming in and getting 15 goals for us. Ruud Gullit with 16, Xhaka with 10, and credit where credit's due for Simon Adingra. He scored 1 goal this year, but it was arguably the most important one, and throughout this rebuild that man has been really important for us, so credit to him. He scored the goal to stop Everton beating us. But there we go, we've done it. We have built an invincible team, adding 1 go every single season. If you like ideas like this using Legends players, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to smash the like button and come and try the save out yourself on Patreon and see if you can get them to go invincible. There's plenty of legends in this save to pick up, some we didn't even get, like R9, Pele, Maradona, a bunch of ones that we were unlucky not to land on, but what a team we built, what a save it was, and we are invincible.